Okay, I'm turning the dimmer or whatever, the brightness all the way down so I can't see myself because it just weirds me out. Um, Hi, I'm Gianna Valley, and I thought that it would be fun to have a little bit of a studio visit. So this is my big Murex. And now that I can't see myself, I can't see what's reading. Okay. And I'm kind of weird when it comes to my weavings because I don't plan very often, like what I'm gonna weave. So with this piece, I literally warped up at any width. I was like, oh, this seems wide enough, and then I wove a bunch of white for no reason, like with no design plan. And now that I have an idea of what I want to do, the white is actually going to work out with this particular plan. Anyway, so my colleague Katie Earle and I have a new concept in mind for our next project together. And I won't go into detail because we're still hashing it out. But to start with, I'm gonna weave weave one of the pictures that we took over the past, I guess, since 2013, so almost maybe 4 years now. We've been doing photo shoots of work that we've done either in a challenge that we've given the two of us or that we've been making on our own individually. And basically what Katie and I do is we're partners in helping each other in our art practices, our respective art practices is how we've framed it from the very beginning. And it's kind of evolved into Everlea Textiles. Yeah, photo shoots have been the biggest way in which we've supported each other. Is we really hold each other accountable to have like certain amounts of stuff done by the day that we're going to have our photo shoot, and so it helps us get stuff done, and then we take nice photos and have good photo representation of the art we've made. I moved to New York City, and we didn't even really know each other very well. We had both studied at Concordia and seen each other in passing there in Montreal, but we weren't friends in Montreal. But my being in New York prompted me to call anyone I knew, and I knew she lived in Manhattan. So we actually stayed with her when we were apartment hunting. We decided to do Everlea before we even knew we worked well together. So it's kind of become this neat thing where the project is an art piece in and of itself, and our friendship is the story. So my next weaving is going to be, sorry, long story to lead up to what I'm weaving, but is basically just a woven version of one of the photos we took, but I'm going to really take liberties with color and probably change the negative space somewhat, and kind of just my interpretation of it. And what I did is we're going to choose photos that evoke certain memories for us in terms of how our relationship has been building over the years. So this particular photo that I'm going to be weaving, and I'll pop it up here. I remember that day very clear. It was actually our very first photo shoot together in 2013, and I was laughing because as Katie and I were talking the other day on the phone or on Skype, deciding what our next project was going to be, and I was getting excited about this idea of inserting memories into the idea, the concept behind the piece. I started to laugh because the one memory that was coming to mind in that moment was my son Sam is like more or less always with me when I'm doing these photo shoots, or well, actually not all the photo shoots, but the skill shares that I did in New York, I often had Sam with me. And for this first photo shoot I did, and Katie was really generous and offered to throw away one of Sam's diapers after I just changed him. And I gave it to her and I was like, that's amazing. That is one stinky diaper and she's walking across the basketball court to throw it away, and I know how much that stinks. Like, that's a good friend. And so I just thought that was hilarious. That's the memory I have. But this photo is from that day, and it's Katie behind the indigo, and the indigo is something, the silk is something that I dyed. It has, like, you can't really tell in this photo, but there's shibori, so it's blue on blue shibori. So I thought for the educational aspect of this video, because I like to always teach a little something, that I'd show you how a weaver might decide how to orient their image on the loom. So if you may or may not know, with the Merrick's loom you can shift your weaving back. So that means I can use the entire warp almost, so that, you know, what that means is once I'm done weaving this bottom part, and I actually don't like going much higher than this anyway, so this is something I need to do right now anyways. You loosen your tension, and then you can move your weaving down, and that way, see, now it's much lower. And that way you can use, so the bar just went from here to here, and you can bring your bar all the way up to the top of your loom. And this way you can make a weaving about yay high. I don't know if you can see where my hand went, but I think this one makes a weaving 60 inches high. I'm going to be weaving this design like this on my loom. In its correct orientation, this is a vertical line, but when weaving it, I'd rather it be like this, because otherwise, if I'm weaving it in this orientation, I'm going to have a big slit to sew up. So yeah, I'm thinking, I guess I consider work, like how much more work is it going to be if I weave it this way compared to this way. But there are other reasons why you would think, why you might want to turn a weaving around. So this piece, or a design around, this piece here, and I'm going to turn up the light so I can see what you can see. So you can see, and maybe I'll take a photo and post it better, but you can see that this weaving was woven like this because the hatching, say here in the wing, the hatching is horizontal in this orientation. There are lots of examples here, but the areas highlighted show the use of hatching to blend two colors. So there's brown blending with yellow, brown blending with off-white, and brown blending with blue. Hatching is woven on a horizontal plane, so we can deduct that this piece was woven in this orientation on its side, and the designer of this weaving would have taken that into consideration when they decided which way it would be woven. Same kind of idea. So if I were to weave this, I wouldn't weave it in that orientation. I would weave it this way, because weaving stripes on a horizontal plane is easier and less work than if I were to weave it this way, because then I'd have to sew up all the slits or do interlocking the entire way up on all of those stripes. That would be a lot of work. This piece is by, it's a watercolor by Marcel Morois. He's a tapestry artist. He actually did the front. This is a detail of his tapestry work. He's a Quebec artist. And then the last photo I showed you is you probably may have been able to read it, a detail of a 17th century Peruvian tapestry with indigo blue background. So I just wanted to check in and show you what I'm doing, what I'm planning on doing, and give you a little tip while I was at it. I hope that was interesting. Sorry it's so long-winded. I'm not known for being concise. Ciao!